Hi, this is Brandon from thirstgym.com, and today we're talking about exercise called the alternating decline dumbbell bench press. This is a great exercise for your upper body, chest, shoulders, triceps. The alternating piece is also good for some rib cage mobility, but it's also a shoulder-friendly pressing exercise. So if you have issues with any kind of pressing overhead or straight in front of you, this might be an exercise you want to try. What you're going to need, you are going to need some kind of utility bench that can perform a decline. Again, if you can't do that, just elevate one end on a couple 45-pound plates or a very low box, and that will give you a subtle decline. You can, of course, raise that decline as much as you want, but generally just a really small, manageable decline is really all you're going to need for an exercise like this, and then obviously you need a pair of dumbbells or whatnot. Now, when it comes to this exercise, we're after a couple things, and again, that's the rib cage mobility, and we're after the pressing in a friendly or safe area that works well for our clients or our athletes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get on the bench, lock my feet in, get down into position here, dumbbells up. Now, with this just being a regular decline dumbbell bench press alternating fashion, my elbows are not out like this, so I don't want to come out into this position. I still want to keep my elbows tucked to some degree. I like to think of about a 30 to 45 degree angle with that. And then what we're going to do from this position is alternate which dumbbell we press. I like to have most of my athletes start with a top-down approach and stick with this unless if we're after like a pumping action, which I'll discuss here in a second. So again, dumbbells are here, I'm going to come down, press one, down, press the other. So I'm always going to keep one at the extended position. That's a little bit better on my shoulders rather than the alternate being I have one down here and then coming like this. Okay, we don't want to keep our shoulder in that giant stretch position if we don't have to, especially if these would be really heavy dumbbells. Again, for me, these lighter of weights is okay, but again, we want to generally keep them at the top, alternate back and forth, trying to keep our midsection relatively rigid. We are going to rotate around just a little bit because of the loads, but what we don't want to have happen is bring that dumbbell down and I start to come off the bench. Okay, don't want that. Just make sure you're in a good position. You can also perform these in a pumping fashion like I mentioned, so you can have one here and you're going to alternate back and forth. Again, you can see my body's rocking more. There's definitely more of a pumping based action, and again, this is definitely going to let you get more reps, and it's also going to be more fluid on the rib cage. Just come up, we're going to put the dumbbells straight out in front of us, bring them towards our knees, use them to help us sit up, and then get off the bench. Now, as I mentioned about the pumping motion, the reason that's good for the rib cage is going to simulate our gait cycle. The ribs are going to move back and forward just like when we walk. That can really good in terms of opening up the shoulders and letting them feel better. Having good quality rib cage mechanics lets the shoulders do what they naturally need to do from a multitude of facets, but mainly if somebody's really rigid, they walk like a refrigerator, then that may not be good. Now, the reason most people do this is with a top-down approach. Again, I reiterated, why you don't want to keep them down here the whole time, but that's also still going to give you some of those rib cage mechanics while still getting some strength and performance gains. So I think you can get a good blend of both worlds. Now, you can make this more shoulder-friendly with a neutral grip option, which I've already discussed in a separate video. So generally speaking, this is going to be people that don't have shoulder issues, but again, it's still a shoulder-friendly option because we're pressing more down at this angle, less than 90 degrees rather than getting to this 90-degree angle or even above, where somebody may not have that shoulder flexion that we need, me being one of those people. So again, doing decline pressing still lets me get very similar training options available to me, but I know it's a safer alternative if I need to do it. Now, when it comes to programming, 2 to 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps would be ideal, especially for that top-down approach. That's going to let you get that strength and hypertrophy that you're kind of after, but still get that ribcage mechanics like we mentioned. However, if you are going to do them in that pumping motion, then you can see your reps get up to about 10 per side. That way it's a little more fluid. Again, your loads probably aren't going to be nearly as heavy, and you probably don't want them as be, just so that you can get that pumping motion, but also not feel like you're going to fall off the bench, especially from a safety perspective. So again, that's the exercise. If you got any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Thanks. Have a great day.